make ethnic drill samples for Russ? Do you also have 500 bucks for Kontakt and another 500 for other banks?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Didn't think so, but don't worry. I got you. In today's video, I'm gonna show you 2 different methods to make ethnic drill samples without any expensive VSTs. Alright, so method 1. Making the sample from scratch. For this method, we'll be using 3 free VSTs. Shout out to my boy Jorts for putting me onto these. All right, so I started off with the DSK Indian Dreams VST. Got some nice instruments in here. Sitar, Sarod, Veena. I have no idea what any of this shit is, but it sounds good. So I started off by setting my scale to F sharp, minor natural. Started out by laying down a basic pattern with the sitar. Also making sure that I varied up the velocity of each pluck a little bit. This would be the main melody that I would use to build the rest of the song. Then I just used the parametric EQ on that to get rid of the low end and just used the little fruity reverb, increase the size just so it had a bit more space. Next I loaded up the DSK World Strings VST and then I also used the sitar. How the fuck do you say it? Then I also used the sitar again. But as you can see here, there's a bunch of different instruments you can choose from. When I was making this, all I did was basically follow the bass notes from my first instrument. So, yeah. Then I drop this down a semitone. But with this note here, instead of following the bass note, I decided to put it up to G. Now technically this note is out of key, but when it's layered over the first instrument, it sounds nice as fuck. Then I just laid down a little top line, nothing too crazy, just 3 notes. For that top line, I just applied another EQ, got rid of some low end, and another fruity reverb too. Next, I grabbed this bamboo flute one shot. If you want to find shit like this, just search flute one shots in YouTube and there's going to be a ton of royalty-free kits that you can use. Anyway, I pitched this down 1 semitone so that it was in key with the rest of the sample. Next, I throw on Baby Audio's latest plugin, Crystalline. This plugin is paid. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, if money's tight, you can get away with just using the free Fruity Reverb plugin. But if you've got some cash to spare, cop this. It's got shitloads of presets and custom effects controls. You can play the transient shapes, add some shimmer, modulation, you can play the stereo width, all kinds of shit. I've got a little partnership going on with Baby Audio right now, so if you wanna cop the plugin, use the link in the description and it will help the channel grow. Anyway, turn on the shimmer and I also increased the stereo width by 100. And I also dropped the dry wet knob a little bit. Here's the flute dry. And here's with some crystalline and fresh air. Now I feel like with melodies like this, you can just add to it forever. So I decided to stop myself there and just find some nice low end. So I got this bass one shot from a Cast & Beats one shot kit. Got rid of the high end on that. And then I just followed the bass notes of the main melody. So if we break this down as simple as we possibly can, started by laying down the bass notes that the rest of the melody would follow. Next, I layered over some strings, following those bass notes, but also putting a little top line on top, just to give it some variation. I found a nice flute, just to give the melody some more sauce, and then I added some low end with the bass. Next, all we have to do is rearrange those elements, and then the sample's done. All right, so for the arrangement, we're just gonna copy these over a couple times. Now I've applied some halftime to my strings and my little plucks on top, and now I'm just gonna create an automation clip and automate those on. Now I've gone back into that Cast & Beats one-shot kit and I've gotten this vocal loop. And we'll just move this to the end of the loop. Next, we're just gonna make an EQ on the master and get rid of the frequencies that we don't want. I usually always chuck on Sound Shifter and just play with different pitches to see if I can find something that sounds a bit nicer. Now the next method, and my favorite, is just chopping up samples. Why? Because it's the most time-effective method. In the time it'll take you to cook up one loop from scratch, you could probably chop up like 3 to 4 samples. As long as you play with the pitch of the samples and kind of chop it up cleverly, you won't have to worry about copyright or any of that shit. Hip-hop was founded on sampling. Don't feel like any less of a producer for doing it. Now my general process when I'm trying to find samples is to literally just search it up on YouTube. When people say they struggle to find samples, it genuinely confuses me. I could literally type guy on a donkey playing a flute sample. And look, there's a guy with a donkey playing a flute. You can literally just search whatever the fuck you want and you'll find something. For this sample in question, we're gonna type in something like Arabic female vocals. I'm not gonna specifically show you what video I've chosen to use because I want you to go out and search for yourself. You're not a baby, all right? What I've done is I've found the full sample and I've just chopped out 2 parts that I really like. Next, I've dragged the sample into TuneBat and I know that it's around 90 BPM, so I've fitted the tempo at 90 BPM. Now I already know what I kind of want to do with this. I want this first part to be like the verse part, and this can be like the chorus. Now I'm going to start off with the first part. What I'm going to do is just highlight it, right click on the track, consolidate this track, and just render this out to its own track. So when I manipulate this part, it doesn't do anything weird to this other part. I'm going to cut out this little bit at the beginning. What I'm going to do now is select this little button at the top left of the track, go to chop, time base, and then chop in beat. So now let's play with these chops and find something that we like. Over again, duplicate it over again. Fuck. For this last 4 little beats here, I'm gonna use this end part and make something nicer. Get rid of all this shit. I'm gonna take this second part. Really and truly, you can just get away with 1 8-bar loop and then for the rest of the beat, you can play with effects and stuff. But I like having like secondary parts in my samples, just so people have a bit more freedom to experiment with them. Maybe this just needs to be shortened a little bit. Let's switch this to 1/6 and just, yeah. Yeah. Good enough. Now to give it some rhythm, send these to a mixer track, then we'll use some kickstart on it. If you guys made it to the end of the video, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. If you don't want to miss my next video, hit the subscribe and the little bell next to it. If you want to get some of the sounds that I use on my beats, link in description. If you want to join the Discord community, link also in description. Now that you're done watching the video, if you want some drum sauce, check out this video next. Hello? Rihanna, you just had a baby with ASAP Rocky. I'm not gonna come and meet you at a hotel room. Leave me alone, bitch.